So long, trans people have been sitting alongside queer people doing sit-ins, like helping us get where we need to go and get our rights. And I think now it's time. It's long overdue.
NWT Pride has a long history of celebration, but this year, community members have something new to celebrate. At the end of July, the NWT and Yukon became the first jurisdiction in Canada to allow a third sex option on birth certificates. NWT residents who were born here can now sign birth registration forms amended to the gender marker of his, her, or their choosing. For individuals like Lane, who is newly navigating transition, this is a big stride in inclusivity.
Before the amendment happened, you needed to show proof of gender reassignment surgery, which is 1, not necessary, 2, super invasive, and 3, it really dehumanizes someone. It takes away the autonomy that we get as individuals for a piece of ID that we are entitled to.
For those from remote communities with outdated attitudes, having to go to a doctor as a queer person in the first place can be challenging.
There are a lot of biases and just some preconceived notions within the medical community itself that would make it really hard for people that want to change their gender on their birth certificates.
But the forms are far from perfect. As it stands, the forms require you to fill out both your sex and gender without an option for non-binary individuals.
They're very different, and so it's a little bit confusing having the gender and then the sex like on identification, and the government hasn't quite figured out how to sort out the language surrounding that.
While individuals can change their sex to X in the territories, it may cause problems with acquiring a passport federally.
It's fantastic that the non-binary marker is being added to the identification process, but it means that if you're marked as non-binary, you won't necessarily be eligible to get a passport because you need 2 pieces of ID in order to get a passport, and on a Canadian passport, it's male or female.
While the change is welcomed by LGBT groups in the territories, there is still a lot of work to do federally.
For something like a passport or a birth certificate to have an X, people have to be aware it's going to be fraught with difficulties until everybody is on the same page. I mean, internationally, globally, that we'd all have to be on the same page. And up until now, it's been very hard to get a gender marker changed from one sex to another sex.
Charlotte Moritz-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.